is wild to believe that I am already at the end of the first arc of Hunter x Hunter, but here we are. Hey, it's Romania Black, and yeah, if you can believe it, we're doing episodes 24 and 25, and then I knew ahead of time that episode 26 was the last recap episode, and so I'm going to be looking at that on my own time before we start the discussion, and then come back and talk to you all about it, because it's going to be a recap episode. But when I started out this series, I was like, okay, I'm doing 2 episodes a week, and we're going to do the first 26 episodes, so that's going to be like, like 12 or 13 weeks. That'll take a while. No, it has flown by so fast. I've been like, oh my God, like 3 months have gone by like it was nothing. And I'm like, So we are going to be watching episodes 24 and 25 today, and then talking about those alongside episode 26 in the discussion. And then after this week, I am going to be taking a little short hiatus. I decided on my channel, whenever I do giant series that are multiple seasons, after the first season, or arc in this case, because Hunter x Hunter has arcs that are different lengths, that I'm going to be taking time off to look at another series and then come back to this one. So after this week, we are going to be taking a break. I'll be having an extra next week, and then the following week, I'll actually be starting One Piece live action around this time slot, either Tuesdays or Thursdays. Watch my March update video for my channel to see more about the exact days for that, because it's going to be kind of wonky in March. But yeah, so, and the One Piece live action is only 8 episodes, I believe, so that's only like an 8-week break, 8 or 9 weeks. I mean, probably 10 when you add in the extras, but then we'll be back. In time for my birthday month in May to look at more Hunter x Hunter, the next arc, and I'm so freaking excited. It's gonna be really hard. I told myself I was gonna take these breaks for this arc, though, and I really need to get into One Piece live action, and I need a slot for it, so that's just gonna happen. But I don't know. When we get into the other arcs, I should take a break. I should take a break. Romania, you should take a break. But I don't know. It's gonna be so hard. So anyway, I have some comments I want to talk to you all about before we get started with this. But this has been such a wild ride. I getting into this did not think I would be as into Hunter x Hunter as I am. I was like, everybody's voted for it. They've been asking for years that I look at it. It's been 5 years since I glanced at the show while I was grading papers. I'll watch it and see if I like it. And I'm already sucked into this series. And I'm like, and we're just at the beginning. We're just at the start. Like, what's it going to be like when we get to where I about ended up at? That's a long way from now. So, but anyway, so I have some comments. These comments are from episodes 18 and 19 and 20 and 21. So thank you all so much for commenting. If you have comments for episodes 22 and 23 and then this episode set, please comment, because I am going to, and I know if people have asked about this, I am going to be reviewing the manga. I'm going to be going through the manga. I have been told by Truck, so shout out to Truck, the patron over on Patreon. I have been told by Truck that the volumes 1 through 8 of the manga cover this first arc. So I don't know if I'm going to look at volumes 1 through 8 and review them all in one giant review. That seems like a lot. I might be doing like volumes 1 through 4 and then volumes 5 through 8 together, and then do 2 separate videos, maybe the 2-week lead up to getting back into the arc. Maybe we'll do that. That might be fun. So we'll see about that. We'll see. But I might do that, like have 2 weeks of like prep. So to like remind people, be like, you got 2 weeks to catch up before I start the next arc of Hunter x Hunter. And we might do that. So that could be fun. That'll be a good time. But I am going to be looking at the manga, reviewing it with you all. Probably not reacting, but if you've watched my Natsume Book of Friends reactions, or if you've watched Yona, not Yona the Dawn is not a good example, but if you've watched Natsume's Book of Friends, that's probably the best example of how I'm going to be doing those. So, and you can see that on my channel. But yeah, let's get into these comments. I've already wasted so much time. I don't want to watch these last 2 episodes, only because I know that once I do, I'm going to be on break from Hunter x Hunter for a while. So I'm going to stall as long as I can. But anyway, I have set some comments from episodes 18 and 19 and 20 and 21. CRHJ2K HK for episodes 18 and 19 says, Tompa pointed out the rookies before the exam begins, and Hanzo is one of them. Among the 9, Botaro, Pakal, and Hisoka are the exam veterans. Ponzo is not a rookie, so she must have failed at least one time before. That explains why she knows about things like the trackers, I would suppose, but she also probably doesn't want to trust Gon at first because she's aware that in the hunter exam, you can only rely on yourself. Maybe she was even betrayed that way before. Which is really interesting because Leorio doesn't rely on himself in the exam. I'm going to throw a little bit of Leorio shade just because I can. But yeah, that was really good. So I'm glad we finally got that out of the way, figured that all out. Unikimi8 for episodes 18 and 19 says one of the fundamentals of being a hunter is that they must be in pursuit of something. These two comments, this comment and the next comment for episodes 18 and 19, I think are very interesting. So let's talk about those. That's why the bracket ended up like it was, including Netero's observations and bullshitting. Gon and Kurapika, he already had specified the kind of hunter he wanted to be since episode 1. I like the idea that they're called a blacklist hunter. Love that. Blacklist hunter sounds so badass, which is impressive on its own. As well as Hisoka, he was on the lookout for strong opponents, and he even challenged Netero. They are the most hunter-oriented of the bunch. Yeah, Gon has a specific purpose and pursuit, trying to find his dad. Hisoka just wants to pursue strong people. Very straightforward. Kurapika wants to become a blacklist hunter, get the information to avenge his clan. Very straightforward. Killua took the exam just because he was bored. During the ball fight, he also just gave up, which could have been a negative impression from a hunter's perspective. I believe Netero has nothing against him being an assassin, since the association favors talent over morality and ethics. Look at Hisoka and Illumai. But Netero, I like they put in parentheses, Netero definitely knew that he was a Zoldyk just like Killua. I mean, they did have they were monitoring them the entire time and had trackers as well as cameras and examiners watching, so they probably saw that he was a Zoldyk. But anyway, besides, why were there even kids allowed in these kind of exams? Exactly! But you know what? We've talked about that enough. But yeah, I do agree that Netero may not personally have a vendetta against Killua, but Killua is definitely not the type of hunter or hunter candidate that Netero would ascribe to endorse. Which leads us to Kyle Green's comment for episodes 18 and 19. The only thing I can think to add is that I find it curious that only now, in the final phase, does Netero and the Hunter Association suddenly care about killing and death? This is amazing. I'm so glad you pointed this out. Thank you. I want to talk about this briefly before we dive into these episodes because I think it's important. Where was this rule earlier? It wouldn't be fair to say they encouraged it before, but they certainly didn't discourage it, and now they outright forbid it. As Minchie notes, it might even be crueler this way since people at this stage likely have the resolution to keep going, which means the fights are likely to be longer and more brutal. Is there a moral here? Is Netero trying to teach them something? Figure out something for himself? Curiouser and curiouser. I do think there's a interesting part to this, more moral-based, because in my mind, and I kind of replied to Kyle's comment on YouTube about this, because I think that before, it's you enter the exam, you accept the fact that you could be killed, you accept the fact that people might be trying to kill you, whatever. And, when they start out the exam, anyone can apply, regardless of talent or potential, as Netero would see it. But once you reach the final phase of the exam, because if you notice, this started way back in the second leg. Like in the first leg of the exam, it was kind of like, you just got to get from point A to point B. How you get there, nobody cares. The second leg of the exam, when Minchie tried to fail everybody for the first time, that was when Netero was like, whoa, we can't fail everybody. What if somebody has potential and could be a potential hunter? We have to at least have a much more fair way of determining this, even if the fair way was not necessarily the more morally safe way. And so then you had Trick Tower, and then you had Zoldyk, and you had Zevil Island, and now you have the final exam. So by this point, when you reach the fifth leg, the final leg, you're down to the people who have the potential to be hunters. And I think there's something interesting to say that, when it's just everybody as a whole and y'all are commoners, we don't care if you die. But the ones that could be potential hunters and do good in the world, we want to make sure that they're okay. We don't want them to die. We don't want them to get killed. It was giving me My Hero Academia vibes. There's an episode in My Hero Academia where one of the villains is like, the heroes save people, but just the good ones. And I was like, That was giving me like, the Hunter Association will help you, but only if you're a potential hunter and only if you are going to be beneficial to the organization. Otherwise, don't care. Don't care. Inmates, don't care. Anybody else, don't care. But, it's giving all sorts of questions. And yeah, was there a moral here? I think that's going to be something that we carry with us for the rest of the series, but we'll see. Togashi's playing a long game. Togashi's playing a long game. We're seeing it already from the beginning of the series to this first arc ending. And so I'm like, I do not doubt that Togashi is going to have all of this, like, they're gonna be ready. They're going to be playing the long game and ready to pull all this stuff back out at a later date. But Kyle, that was such an amazing comment. Thank you for positing these questions. These are great questions to posit. For episodes 20 and 21, Anne says, I also love the part where Illumi tells Killua he can't make friends. What's Hisoka to you then? We had a joke in the comment section and on the Discord where it's like, Illumi introduces Hisoka to his family being like, this is my, for lack of a better word, this is my fuckboy. And the family's like, oh, okay. Like, not your friend though, right? And he's like, oh no, he's just my side hustle. Oh, we're fine with that. Someone suggested, I think we were talking about suggesting Hisoka being the pet of the Zoldyk family. And I was like, I don't know if Hisoka's down for being someone's pet, but they might get into some kinky stuff, so who knows. And then TB had a really good comment where it said, in the French subtitled version, when Illumi says you have the soul of a killer to Killua, the subtitles read, you're a killer down to the tips of your fingernails. And considering his way of killing, well, it's very on point. Love that. Love that. A killer down to the tip of your fingernails and Killua with the fingernails. Oh, that's so good. And then to be honest, I don't think Illumi believes that what he's doing to Killua is wrong. Quite the opposite, actually. I assume it's a very twisted way that he genuinely thinks he's protecting Killua from the outside world, like hunters, as you mentioned, or the ones he, quote, can't beat, by manipulating him into giving up and doing what the, quote unquote, family wants him to. But still, it does seem kind of counterintuitive. Sure, in his own twisted way, is Illumi protecting his brother? Yeah, sure, but I don't know. It's very toxic, and it's basically control. He's just trying to control his brother. I don't know if there's so much I don't know if it's so much protection as opposed to just let me. It feels very much like helicopter parent, but that in itself is toxic. Like, even if there's good intentions, which I don't know with Illumi in this family if there are good intentions, especially the mom and Illumi. We don't know much about the other siblings or the dad, but I'm like, I don't know. Even if it is protecting Illumi, even if it's protecting Killua, it's done in a toxic, not nice, good way. And then Yomu, for episodes 20 and 21, my final comment, I promise, says, episode 20 is the episode that won me over on my first watch. To this day, it occupies a special place in my heart. Killua confesses all he wants is to be Gon's friend. And that melancholic music accompanying this heartfelt moment, Killua's theme, which is a waltz. What else is there to say? And if you've been watching Tin Dance, which I watched Tin Dance on my channel a few weeks ago, you will understand that a waltz, it's a dance of two people. It's a dance of two lovers. It's a dance of two lovers. You all are just encouraging my ship. You're just encouraging this ship beyond all compare, right? Right? So those are my comments. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to get through this, but I love this series so much already, and I don't want it to end, but I understand that it has to, and I'm like, ah! So anyway, we're going to be looking at episodes 24 through 25. Thank you all so much for your comments. Please keep letting me know your thoughts about this arc, because I'm definitely going to be taking your comments, and when I review the manga, I will be answering those comments then. It won't be as long as you think it will be. I know that time is going to fly, right? So anyway, thank you all so much for commenting. I have truly appreciated it, but we need to get down to brass tacks. I am so ready to get into assassin goodness. So we are going to start episode 24 and 25 of Hunter x Hunter. I'm so ready, and we're gonna do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's do it to it. Damn, the previews again. Ah. Uh-huh. A dormant volcano. No big deal. Won't erupt or anything. You can smile. Uh-huh. Yes, the famous family of assassins. Mm-hmm. It's weird they keep coming there for a glimpse when no one can see it. Like, no one can see it, so... Ah! We only get 2 more of these. I'm so sad. Maybe not, though. I wonder if they'll use the same OP for the next arc since it's not a technical season. I don't know. Maybe it's not the last time we're seeing this. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see in 8 weeks. You can smile again. You can fly away. I do like the purple mist around Illumi, and that kind of goes with Zoldyk Mountain. It fits really well. Da 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 da. You can smile. See, this right here makes me think that we might see it in the next arc. But I don't know if that's true or not. We'll have to see. Yes, bitch. You know he don't believe any of that. The orchestral music, the choir. Ah! Love it. It's so epic. Oh, hell yes. He's just a boy. He's just a baby. Oh, wow. Oh, his hair was longer then. Oh. Ooh. Mmm. The threads, y'all. And then there she is. Wow, at the gate where you enter. They all look a little bit younger there. Is that a lint brush? Oh no, it's an apple. Oh. The apprentice butler. Canary! Oh. 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 They could be star-crossed lovers if he wasn't with Gon. Yeah, cool. A little bit concerned that these children are learning assassination techniques. Oh, Meteor City. Huh. Oh my god. Oh. Oh. Well, it being erased is why you haven't heard of it. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, bitch. Okay. Interesting. And he just kicked off the apple. Screw these fruit. Oh, wow. She's scared in that moment. Oh. Hmm. Oh, why? Is this when Sequant came over? Perhaps? Yep, it is. There he is, right there. And this is where she proved herself. Oh, I have things I already want to say! Wow. And this is like her first day on the job. Crazy. Yeah, well, we all saw how that turned out. Wow, Sequant. Yeah, that worked out real good for you, didn't it? Oh, wow. Oh! Girl, get it, Canary! Hey, she's just a kid! And you're the ones trespassing! I love that little kid Killua is unimpressed. Were these kids like 8 years old at the time? Oh my god. Mm-hmm. 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 She's like, I wish, but no. Nice. Nice. Oh, Brasty Jeffries over here is thinking he's going to have some kind of, like, influence on this, but no. Not a chance. Oh. Ooh. Oh, hey, bitch, no way. No, no, no. Oh, shit. Oh, so he's a hunter. Oh, that got, like, right in her arm. Oh, girl. And she immediately picked up on it. Oh, bitch. Oh, girl. Oh, girl. Oh, girl got it immediately. Damn. She learns fast. Oof. Oof. Girl. Wow. The cleaners. Oh, I love it. Oh my God. Oh my God. That is terrifying. Wow. Hmm. And tiny little Killua. Oh, Oh, she already knew it. Okay. Interesting. No. Hmm. Wow. So she was already like that beforehand. Oh. Oh, damn. But she wanted to be your friend. Ah. This boy wants to be your friend. Okay, good. So what happened? Okay, oh, she's still there. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. They are the Addams family for sure. Oh. Ooh. Oh my God. Mmm. Oh shit. Oh my God. Oh my God. Whoa, buddy. Coludo. Hmm. Solitary confinement. Yeah, he did tell them that already. No, I don't think so. No, well, I don't know about that. What is going on? Oh, bitch, the grandpa's coming in. And this is her dad. Or maybe it's not. Oh my God. Wow. I'm not sorry. Wow, Killua gets looks from his grandpa. Silva, the dad. Wow, Killua looks just like his grandpa. Mill and kill and ill. Oh my God. Mm. Hmm. He's so moody. Hmm. Uh, so you want to be the head of the family? I would imagine Illumi would want to be the head. I mean, he's the tech guy, clearly. Ah, bright but foolish. Something's come up, you crazy woman! So I bid you farewell! As she skirts away. This woman is insane. The mood change. Hmm. Hmm. She just hurried away. Just. These people creep me out. Yes. Correct. Aww. Hey. There we go. Zeno. Oh, okay. Zeno. Okay, we're getting names. We're getting names. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Hmm. Ooh, I don't like it. Oh, I don't like it. I don't like it. No, I don't like that. Ooh, I don't get a good vibe, though. Ugh. Oh my god, they're going so fast in their outfits. Ridiculous. Ugh. Mm. 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 Wow, you've never had one before ever? Oh, wow. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. I want to believe this is sincere. Damn. Well, this guy's just a dandy. What? This guy's just dandy. How did he end up with her? How did he end up with her? No, they didn't. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, this family's insane. Uh-huh. Yikes. Oh my god. Oh my god. Hmm. Hmm. Herm. Quit teasing us! Will they be able to see Killua? That was the fastest episode ever. That was the fastest episode ever. Oh my god. Oh my god. Well, clearly we need to watch the next episode immediately and find out if he's going to see him or not. So we need to do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's enjoy this OP one more time. Shall we? Oh god, I gotta go. I'm gonna go back. I'm just floored. I am floored that the dad was as chill as he was. Silva's amazing. I freaking love Silva. So we didn't get to see the grandma or the great-grandfather, and we didn't get to see the other sibling that Killua has the holding hands with. Insane! I'm assuming Zeno is Silva's father, because they look very similar. And Killua definitely takes after Zeno. I'm assuming that Miluki takes after the mom, and Illumi takes after the mom. They have to take after the mother. They look nothing like Silva. And then Kaluta looks like the mom, but with like eye shapes like Silva. And we don't know about the other sibling. Crazy! Also establishing that Killua is definitely like middle child. Interesting. Is this like an Amish thing where they just go let their kids sow their wild oats and then come back? They go on like Rumspringa and come back? Crazy! Damn. I am baffled that the dad was this understanding. But that's kind of crazy in its own right. He's also a big giant-ass man. Aw. Aw. Can't see if you're blind. Oh my. With the father he admires. Come on, Mom. I love Canary. Ah! Oh, God. Oh, my God. Goto. Is Goto the illegitimate father of Illumi? Ha! Probably not. Oh, wow. Hmm. Interesting. Okay. Hmm. Of course you would, Gone. Of course you would. For his friends. Gone's like, but you're his friend too. His unofficial friend. Okay. Oh. I like Killua's like straps off the sleeves look. The second he gets there. The way that Goto looks. Do we think that? Why aren't you letting them see him? Oh my God. Oh my God, they're gonna fight them. Anybody else think that the mom might have been getting with Goto for like the first couple kids? Maybe, possibly. Might be some milkman thing going on. Oh. I thought they were gonna fight him immediately. Quit being adorable. Hmm. He just looks a lot like Milky, I'm just saying. Why not? That's a lie. Huh. A game, you say? Well, uh, huh. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Is it still the left? I feel like it's still the left. Well, sure. Oh my God. Maybe she did get with you. Okay. It was the left. All right. Well, but I mean, just let him see him. Come on now. Okay, so we're gonna fight. Okay. Damn it, Canary. Damn. Oh. Wow. I seriously think that Miliki and Illumi might be his children and not Silva's. I might be in the wrong on that. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh wow, it was the right hand. Oh shit. Ooh, I'm gonna guess left this time. It was the left. Hmm. I don't know if I believe that. Oh shit! Oh my god, why? Oh, bitch. Oh, wow. Okay, all right. Killua's gonna find out you're... Oh my gosh, my dude! Gon is willing to test anything to see Killua. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, bitch. Yeah. An afterthought! Aww. Oh. Uh-huh. Hmm. Uh-huh. Canary's like, thanks for not killing me. They were entertaining us. Canary's like, F my drag. Anywhere else. Cone's like, I don't even have a mom. Oh. 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 But you do. You're lying. Oh. Mmm. Mmm. That's a big thing. Oh, poor canary. Let them be friends. Ah. Hmm. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Ah. Oh. Mm. Ha. So now what? Oh. 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 Oh, bitch, go! Come on! He's not going to consider himself a hunter until he can do it. Oh my god. Well, I don't know! Yeah. Oh. Oh, we're going back to that! Oh. Mm-hmm. What'd he say? Oh, yeah! Ooh, or... Uh-huh. Yes. Whoa, buddy. In York, New City. Oh, wow. That's a while from now. Oh. A giant auction, you say? Uh-huh. Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine. Okay. It's like half a year from now, though. Okay. Oh. Okay. This is so bizarre. This is so crazy. And Leorio heading off too. Oh, wow. So that leaves Killua and Gon. Killua and his sweet new drip. In York, New City. And now it's Gon and Killua. Uh! Oh! Ah! What a nice bunch of boys. Ah! Aww. I'm so humble. Aww. Mm. Uh-huh. Huh. Hmm. Through normal means, but what are we gonna do? Did Aunt Media leave you anything? Oh, bitch. Train and earn money? Oh, is this what I think it is? Is this what I think it is? Save it for the spoiler corner, Heaven's Arena. Okay, okay, all right. Save it for the spoiler corner. I can't believe that Leorio and Kurapika are gone. York, New City, which is New York. The Heavens Arena. Oh my god. Y'all. 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 What a episode to end off on to prep for the next arc. I'm just saying. I have so many thoughts. And thanks for the spoiler corner to talk about. Ah! So ready. So ready. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I don't think this is the last time we're seeing this OP and ED. But I could be wrong. I don't think there's an end credit scene. Yeah, I don't think there. Oh, okay, it's a preview for the recap. For the recap that I'm going to watch off screen and then come back and talk to you all about, because oh my gosh, I think that was the fastest paced episode set that we have watched yet. That went by so fast. What even was that? That went by so quickly. That was insane. No, that was the fastest episode set that I've watched yet. And it was like not even anything dramatic happened. It was all just like exposition and family backstory and basically Killua's dad being insanely chill. I was like, I have things in the spoiler corner that I want to talk about, but we are not here nor there. So we need to just get the Zoldyks up here on the family tree. We need to get the Zoldyk family up here all the time, on here, all day, every day. And we need to just go along with this. I want to get our screenshot started as well. And we're going to pull this up here in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I'm glad that we got a good resolution for this episode set. I'm glad this episode set ended with Killua and Gon back together again, first of all. But not only that, but we kind of like, we set a goal point to be met by the next arc, right? So we have the idea, we're going to come back to this. We know that September 1st, the 1st of September, in York New City, which is in no way, shape, or form a play on New York City. In York New City, there is going to be a massive auction, which we will talk about. It's the 1st through the 10th. A 10-day auction is pretty crazy. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to be talking about that. And then on the other side of that, there is the idea that in the meantime, everyone has goals. So Gon's goal with Killua is to train. Kurapika's job is to get money, and Leorio's job is to level up, doing some level up with his med skills, right, in that amount of time. So good for them. Good for them. I want to get out the calendar real quick and kind of pace out like where we are. So I know that the next arc, I think, is only 12 episodes long. I do remember that because I was like, oh, we're going to do a short break and then a short arc. So if we're doing like this arc here is going to end. So if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then in April, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we'll be starting Hunter x Hunter, the next arc, back in May. So if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have, let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it'll end around the end of July. And then let's say we have a short series in between where it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. It would be really fun if we took a really short break between arcs and started the next arc, like to start where I think we're going to start after this next arc, the arc after next. It'd be really funny if we started at September 1st. That would be amazing. That would kind of be perfect. We might have to plan this out. I know I said I would take arcs between all of them, but we might need to plan this out. Because starting September 1st with the arc that I think we're going to start, that we're going to talk in the spoiler corner about, I think would be amazing. So we'll have to plan out that. We're going to plan out that. But yeah. So let's dive into this. I've spent a lot of time here. So we started out with this backtracking and the mom saying that Killua wasn't going to see them, which now that we know about the Zoldyk family, we basically know that Killua could have left at any time. He really could have, and he got real pissed at Miluki, so he decided to leave there, but he could have left at any time. He was just kind of atoning for the fact that he cut his brother and his mom, humoring them. And then we have this flashback. Now, when did this flashback take place? We don't exactly know, but I'm going to be reading the manga, so I'm probably going to find out when it took place in the manga, so it's fine. But Killua's hair was longer, and he was smaller. He was tinier. But, yeah, we have lots to talk about in the spoiler corner, and I don't want to get into it. But we have him coming back from one of his first missions, And Illumi is there saying, did you dispatch his target? Look at Illumi looking fly as hell. Illumi's looking so casual in his skinny jeans, his black skinny jeans, and his green little blazer. Look. I have theories. I have some theories. Do I think that Milky and Illumi might be the milkman's kids or the butler's kids? I'm saying it. I'm saying it's a possibility. That butler looks the butler and Milky look awfully similar in the face. I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there. If you told me Illumi was Silva and the moms, yeah, I'd believe that. But Milky looks an awful lot like the damn butler. I'm just saying, I'm just saying. The genetics are wild. So yeah, so we've met, we know that there's a great grandparent, and we know that there is a grandma. We've not met them, and we know that there is a sibling that we conveniently have not met. The sibling not being met that seems to be close to Killua because they were holding hands in a little image. Them not being met is interesting because you would think with a sibling Killua is really close to, they would be there, but I don't know. They're off doing something else. And they don't seem to be close to the mom, so where are they? Maybe they're with maybe they're close to the grandparents and they're just off with them. Who knows? Then we met the grandfather who is Zeno. I do not think that Zeno is the mom's dad. I think that Zeno is Silva's dad because Zeno and Silva look very similar. And the mom has to look different than them if Illumi and Milky are her children. So yeah, we met, and then the dad is Silva. I don't think we know the mom's name. The mom's name's still a mystery. And then Killua is the sister. Killua is the sister to Killua. If they were twins, you would not be able to convince me otherwise. And then we have Milky. Milky is the brother. And then Illumi is the other brother. I like that we have Ill, Mill, Kill, and then you have Cull. You have Cull, and we don't know the other ones. But yeah, so anyway, Illumi just looks great in this. Illumi looks great in this shot. So yeah, I'm sure you were watching me from a distance. Oh, I'm sure he was. It's interesting, their relationships, honestly. And honestly, it does not surprise me that Illumi is like kind of observant over Killua. I guess if we're going to make like a little thing here, the grandfather has high hopes for Killua, just like Illumi does. Illumi almost seems to be maybe jealous a little bit. I know it doesn't come across it, but I think he is Milky is definitely jealous. Milky is super jealous that Killua is being considered to be the head of the family, right? I don't know if Illumi is jealous necessarily, whereas Milky is. Milky is jealous. The mom is a damn helicopter parent. She is very controlling. I feel like her and Illumi are very similar. Illumi is controlling. And the mom's controlling is kind of like that comment in the intro talked about. The mom's controlling is her trying to be protective of her kid. She's like, he's my baby boy. I'm just being protective of him. But it comes across really controlling and freaky and creepy. And I think Illumi is the same way. He's trying to control his brother. But also, here's the thing too. If Killua is the head of the family, Illumi can go and do whatever he damn well pleases, and him and Hisoka can go off and make out and do their creepy, kinky shit over here. So he might want Killua to be tied down and be head of the family so that Illumi gets some freedom to do whatever he wants to do. So I don't know. There's definitely something to that. But yeah, the fact that he's been keeping an eye on Killua the entire time, he's like, well, mom's waiting for you inside. I definitely think since Illumi is the eldest, that him and also, I don't know, Goto has such an affinity for the mom, and Illumi and Milky are both mama's boys. I'm like, I don't know. And honestly, Silva seems like the type of guy that he's like, oh, you had kids with somebody else? Works for me. Like, he seems so chill about it. He'd be like, okay, cool, whatever. Because clearly Killua is their child. Clearly Killua is Silva's. And Kaluto seems to be Silva's as well because they have the same eyes. We don't know about the other sibling, but I'm like, if the older two siblings were with the milkman, aka Milk Butler, you would not surprise me. He's like, I don't want to see her. So then they meet Canary. I'm so glad we can call her by name right now. I love Canary. Canary is such an awesome character. She's amazing. And it was like her first day when Sequant showed up. It was like her first day proving herself. I am sad that Canary gets kind of the short end of the stick in this episode set. She doesn't get to be acknowledged as Killua's friend. And that part's sad because for all intents and purposes, she was Killua's first friend. Because they could talk about things and they seem to have some relation to each other. They both like similar things. They both get along really good. They have great chemistry. If I wasn't shipping Killua with Gon, I'd be shipping Killua with Canary. Like 100% because... And if you're a multi-shipper, you're having the best of both worlds. But she's just such a fun character and she's so nice and she's so considerate, but she also is like such a fierce badass. And I hope by the end of the series that she gets acknowledged as Killua's friend. That's all I want. All I want out of Canary's character by the end of this series is for her to be acknowledged. I am Killua's friend as well. And I think she deserves it because she's been such a nice person to him and she's exactly what he needed. Also, Killua as a tiny little child here looks so adorable. He's so cute. This tiny little assassin. He's just the most precious. But yeah, she's the new butler, yeah. So let's talk about where she said she's from. She's like, I'm Canary. She's like, I appreciate the thought. And he's like, well, just call me Killua. And she's like, I'm a servant and you're the employer. And that's just how it is. And Killua was like, well, that's lame. I don't like that. I kind of like this idea that Killua because how she's treating Killua is as the head of the family. Because that's, for all intents and purposes, what he's going to be doing later on. And he's like, no, he's like, I don't want to be labeled as that. That's boring. Who would want that? And so she's like, you were using the shadow step. It's a technique where you move silently so you won't be noticed. It's one of the first assassination techniques we learn. So I want to point this out real quick, that we have the shadow step. And the shadow step seems to be a common technique that is taught to assassins. One of the first things they learn right off the bat. And then the rhythm echo is what Killua has been using throughout the series, but we find out Canary automatically already knew how to do it. Girl already knew how to do it. That's how she got this job. Also, she's like, oh, is that so? I must have learned it while growing up in Meteor City. The way that Canary speaks, she's so humble. She's like, oh, I must have just picked it up there. Girl, no. And Killua's so nonchalant and kind of chill like his dad that he doesn't really pick up on the context clues that she's throwing out to the rest of us in the audience. When she's like, oh, I must have learned it. I'm like, girl, no. Girl's the apprentice butler. She learned it to get a position like this. Girl knew it. If she didn't learn it to get a position like this, she learned it to survive, from what we find out about Meteor City. So Meteor City is where she said that she grew up at. And the very quick aside that we get about it, Killua was like, Meteor City? And then he says, oh, well, she goes, yes, my hometown. It's a city that has been erased from the world. She says it so casually, right? It's a city that has been erased. Which I'm assuming Meteor City, it was probably hit by a meteor, so it's been wiped out. So we get a few little bit of things. And he goes, oh, he's like, I've never heard of it. Well, if it was a city erased from existence, you probably wouldn't have heard of it, right? And then she says, oh, you're allowed to dump anything in Meteor City. So it's like a big dump. She says it's basically like a dump of anything. I'm getting like Oliver and Company vibes. That Once Upon a Time in New York City song's playing. She's like, that's why many members of the mafia and the Phantom Troop come from there. Ha! So, many mafia / Phantom Troop members are from there. Oh, that opened the floodgates, y'all. That opened the floodgates because we have been teased with the Phantom Troop this entire series so far. If you don't remember the Phantom Troop, they are reminded of us today in this episode set as the ones who basically slaughtered Kurapika's clan and that Kurapika is after. So we found out that from Meteor City, many people were basically, you were raised in the slums. Basically, this was like a dog-eat-dog world. And it was like only the strong survive in Meteor City. And that's where a lot of mafia members go to recruit from and where the Phantom Troop recruits from because they're like, oh, if you can survive in these conditions, you'll do just fine in our organizations. Because it's kind of like the thing that's crazy for us, the audience, is we don't think about, Killua doesn't think about it. We do. Killua does not blink or think twice about Canary being a girl that's his age joining his family's association because Killua, all he's done is grow up in this environment where they're assassins. He's like, oh, we kill people for a job. That's a living. That's part of our industry. He doesn't have to blink or think twice about that. So her showing up and being like, oh, I'm from Meteor City. The mafia picks up people from where I'm from. And he's like, oh, okay, well, that's nice. The audience watching is like, wait a minute, hold on. This girl's like 10 years old and is fully capable of assassinating somebody. And that should make you go, like, mind-blowing moment. But instead, we're like, wait, what? Like, wait, what? Hold on. And she treats it like it's no big deal. And he's like, well, I'd like to visit sometime. And she's like, well, I'll serve as your guide. And the thing that's so crazy is that for her, it's completely normal. She's like, sure, I'm going to put this down here. Killua wants to visit. That seems like foreshadowing. Killua wants to visit and Canary is a guide. I like Canary's name because if you're used to like canaries are birds. And in the mines, because my dad was a coal miner, there's the old thing about, the canary in the mine. And to like sniff out, they would use canaries to kind of sniff out if there was like deadly gases or stuff coming out of the mine shaft and everything. The canary would be a warning sign. If the canary dies, that's like, oh, something bad's about to happen. So the fact that she's like a fortress, a wall before you get to the Zoldyk family, she's like the canary in the mine, is kind of interesting. But yeah, I'm going to consider that foreshadowing. That at some point, Killua and her are going to go to Meteor City. At some point, she's going to have to lead him there. We'll see. Maybe, maybe not. But it's just, we've established in the Hunter x Hunter world that the way people view death and violence and destruction is very different depending on who you are and where you're from. And for Killua, he's from a family of assassins, so death is nothing to him. And for Canary, she grew up in one of the worst places, it sounds like. So for her, death is just, eat or be eaten. So it's just an everyday occurrence for her as well. So that's why this job doesn't faze her. And so it's very sad that these kids are so used to this and normalized by this. It's very sad. It's very sad indeed. But yeah. And so he's like, cool, I'll take you around. And he's like, we could train together. And it seems like they are going to be like really good friends. And Killua, again, Killua's trying to show off to his friends. He showed off to Gon the first day he met him on a skateboard. He's met Canary for 5 seconds and he teaches her the rhythm echo step, which she already knew. But, Killua's just trying to show off to his friends. He's trying to just like, come on, be friends with me. And it would have worked too if his damn mom wasn't such a helicopter parent. He's also so tiny there. Look at how tiny Killua is. He's itty bitty. And she's like, Mike is restrained today so that I can take care of business. Look at Killua's face when he's like, Mike is restrained. That face. Killua's so tiny there. And then, yeah, basically Sequant and Captain Hook shows up. And then she takes care of business. The fact that she basically killed all of these men except for Sequant is wild. And the fact that old Zebro showed up and he's like, all right, we're going to let the dog eat the corpses. And Sequant's like, don't eat me! Like, that is so crazy. And the fact that she got a, knife straight to the shoulder. She got a knife straight to, not only could she stand up to this man, with the swords, which shouldn't be surprising. In Hunter x Hunter, bicep size does not mean anything. Nothing at all. Her noodly arms could stand up to Captain Hook any day of the week, right? I also love her cane. I love her cane with the ball on the end of it. But him firing the little knife there and her getting one into her shoulder, like, girl took a knife straight into the arm. It didn't just nick the arm. It didn't just nick the arm. It went straight into the muscle. That would have hurt like hell. And it's deep. It's like halfway in there. And she just pulls it out like it's nothing, and then is able to move her arm with the thing like it's nothing. I feel for Canary, because to me that shows that she's been through something really traumatic growing up, and she's had to like harden herself, harden her heart to survive. So the fact that she met Killua, someone that was close to her age, that seemed like a decent person and wanted to be friends and isn't allowed to be, is really sad. It makes me hurt. I hate it. But yeah, she knew the shadow step already and knocked him straight the F out. Like, girl. She was great. And Sequan's like, help me. And Zebra's like, I'm here to clean up everything. Mike's starving. Let's go. Again, that damn dog. Now we know that there's two of them, right? I don't think Mike is the only one. I think Mike is, God, that dog is so eerie. Its eyes are just so dead inside. I think Mike is always outside. So is there another dog that Silva has together? Are there puppies? Are there tiny demon dog puppies? Will there be? But yeah, look at how tiny Killua is with his little skateboard. He's so freaking cute. I get why the mom considers him precious. He's so tiny and adorable. He's like, you already knew the rhythm echo. And he's like, well, do you think you're stronger than I am? Killua does have an emotional side to him. And she's like, I don't think I'm stronger. She's like, I just didn't want, for you to think that. She's like, I'm keeping my cards close to the chest. And then he says, will you be my friend, Canary? And she like blushes and really wants to be. Like, look at her face. Look at Canary. She wants to be his friend. I freaking love Canary. And I just want her to be Killua's friend too. Like, that was so sad. Like, she wants to, and then she senses that the mom is on the other side. It's such a tease. Togashi is not showing us the mom's eyes, so we have to guess. I hate that. Come on now. But yeah, the mom is watching her, and she knows the mom will get onto her, and so she says, no, I apologize, Killua-sama. And he's like, lame. And then he heads out, and I don't think Killua thinks any less of her, but he doesn't view her as a friend now. She's just a butler. She's just an employee, and it's like, I feel for Canary. I hope that one day in this series, she can be friends with him. I hope that's a thing that can happen down the road. Meanwhile, that is the face of someone who's like, when's my boyfriend getting here? When's my BFF showing up? The fact that Killua could have gotten down at any time astounds me. I did not see that coming. I did not remember that. I remembered him being locked up, but I did not remember him just getting down of his own accord. So yeah, luckily the shot to the head just knocked her out. So that's good. It just zapped her because, good help is hard to find these days. And then the mom, I like the mom's just standing there being like, hello, with Kaluto. So we cut over to Miluki. I know, I'm sure Miluki and Illumi look very similar, and they probably take after the mom, and that's probably it, but I have my headcanons. I have my theories. Yeah. And then telling Killua to wake up. And he's like, oh, morning, bro. Yeah. Miluki, I think of all the siblings so far, like, Kaluto is very interesting. She's so quiet, and she doesn't seem to have much to say. She's very observant and is taking everything in. Whereas Miluki is the exact opposite, and he just runs his mouth and is very emotional and unstable, which is why he can't be the head of the family. And Illumi seems aloof, but then he's very controlling of Killua like the mom. Maybe they're like, you're too much like the mom to be in charge. Maybe Silva wants somebody that's like him to be in charge. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. But he's like, I'm so sorry about stabbing you, bro. It was the wrong thing to do. He's like, but can you tell? Oh, man. Because he's like, you're lying. And he's like, can you tell that I'm not? There are times where after meeting Silva, there are times where Killua is a lot like Silva. And I'm like, okay, Yeah, you're a lot like your dad. I don't know how to feel about that, but we'll see. So yeah, then the grandpa's on the line. He's like, your friends are in the butler's office. And he's like, how about it, Kill? If I ask Mama, then those three. So at first he's threatening. Like, he's threatening to basically hurt Killua's friends. He's like, if I ask my mom and she says yes, could I make them my next targets? And as an assassin family, that's not good. And that's when Killua gets mad and breaks the chain. I love Miluki's face because he's like biting his lip like, my little brother could possibly kill me. And then that face is terrifying. I thought Illumi was scary. That's an Illumi scary face. No, he's like, Miluki, if you touch my friends, I will kill you. What does he say specifically there? If you touch them, I'll kill you. Nope. Nope. That's terrifying. That Illumi and them get it from one of the parents. We've only seen the dad's eyes, and the dad had a scary face at one point, so maybe. But yeah. So the mom is like, oh, you'll have to forgive me for not introducing myself. I'm Killua's mom, not getting names because they're cowards. And this is Kaluto. Kaluto definitely looks like Killua in the eyes. She is their lavender, and then she has the purple hair. She gives me Sabrina vibes from Pokemon. She gives me vibes of both Sabrina and Hotaru from Sailor Moon. She gives me Sailor Saturn vibes. Yes, Togashi is married to Sailor Moon's mangaka, so she totally gives me Sailor Saturn vibes. And Sailor Saturn is the Sailor Senshi of Destruction, so that would track with her. So yeah, interesting. And I like that they're like, well, why can't Killua come and see us? And she's like, because he's in solitary confinement. And she says it was his choice, but it's like, was it his choice? Was it really? Did he voluntarily do it? I mean, he does say that he basically let Miluki beat him up because, to apologize for stabbing him and the mom. So maybe it was voluntary, but she's like, we don't know when he'll leave. And then she finds out that the grandfather is letting him out. I'm coming in. She calls him dad, but I don't think that that's her dad. I think she's just saying father, like, oh, pops and stuff like that. Also want to talk about, it says 1 kill per day. Oh my God. His outfit saying 1 kill per day is crazy. Also, Killua getting the backpack side bandages that are kind of like his grandpa's. Okay. All right. If Killua takes after anyone, it is after his father and grandfather. 1000%. Because they look so similar. The genetics definitely swing on that side of the pendulum for Killua. He's like, Grandpa Zeno, he's not sorry at all. And he's like, I know. He's like, I know he's not, but you can go. He's like, this is silly. You've done enough. And then Killua just got down like it was no big deal. He's like, well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, not sorry. He's like, I let you slap me around, but now we're done. And he's like, Silva wants to see you. The fact that the dad says they've never had a father and son conversation is so wild because his dad seems like a legit chill dude. Maybe they've only talked like when the whole family was there. We're going to talk about their relationship here in a second. But yeah, so Miluki gets pissed. He's like, he's an uppity brat because y'all spoil him. And the grandpa's like, look, he's special. Killua is the prodigy of the family. And Miluki's like, well, you all spoil him, and that's why he's so moody. He's like, what do you think of his potential? And then Miluki's like, well, he's probably the most talented of our family. My mom seems to think so. And he's like, I agree. But he fails as an assassin because he's too moody. A kid who wants to make friends cannot lead the Zoldyk family. In the end, he's just a crybaby and he's mentally weak. I don't think that the grandfather says that's true, but I don't know if the grandfather believes he can't lead because he has friends. He's also only 12 years old. And Miluki's like, well, take me instead. He's like, I have all these weapons. I could use a bomb and it's awesome and it's super compact and I could attach it to this and do that. Like, the way that he describes attaching a bomb to a female mosquito that would explode when it sucks the target's blood, I'm like, this family is crazy. But yeah. And then he's like, you're foolish. You're really bright, Milky, but you're also incredibly foolish. You're a bright boy, but that foolish nature of yours doesn't help. So yeah, I mean, Milky, don't think he could be the head of the family. He's too like brash and thinks he's like the mom. They both are too brash and they both get ahead of themselves without thinking. Illumi does not seem to want to be the head of the family, which is interesting to me. Why Illumi wouldn't be considered for it, but I'm sure there's a reason. We're probably going to get into it later on in the series. And then Kaluto, I think it'd be kind of cool if Kaluto was the head of the family. She seems like calm, cool, and collected, and she seems dangerous, so maybe Kaluto could become head of the family. I don't know. We don't know hardly anything about her. We don't know anything about the other sibling. Maybe the other sibling can become head of the family. I don't know. Why has it got to be Killua? I mean, he's the prodigy, but... And then she gives me such vibes of Jezebel from Pokemon, where she's like, you're not running properly. And she's like, well, goodbye. I was just like, she was there, like, threatening all of them, and she's like, well, time to bid you farewell. Good day. And then just decides to take off running, and Gon's like, hold on. And she's like, yes. He's like, we're going to be staying in town, so tell Killua that we're here. And she's like, very well. I shall tell him. Goodbye. And then she just trots off. Like she just trots off. And that leaves Kaluto, who is not impressed. She's like, who are you? And he's like, well, we're Killua's friends. And she's like, friends? She's just very like, she's interesting. Kaluto is super chill. She's not like eccentric, over the top crazy like the mom or Milky or even Illumi. Illumi has some of that mom crazy in him. And so she's not like the three of them, but she's more chill like the dad and the grandpa. She's like, okay. She'd be the person that would slit your throat in your sleep, is what she makes me think of. She'd be the person that would slit your throat in your sleep and you would never know what happened. But then, yeah, she just, like, zooms off in her kimono, like a bunch of bugs. And they're like, well, I love what Leorio says when he's like, I shouldn't say it, but those people creep me out. We shouldn't talk bad about Killua's family, but they are creepy as F. Am I right? And Kurapika's like, yes, sir, they are. But yeah, I bet they're lying about Killua not being able to see us. And I like that Kurapika brings up, they're like, hey, we need to stick around because we can't just leave Killua. What if he's looking for us? And Gon's like, they don't want to get Canary in trouble. Like, Gon is such a nice person. He's like, but if we leave now, everybody will blame Canary. And then Canary's like, let me just take you to the butler's office. Let's just go this way. If Zeno-sama is the one who answers, she's like, that's the grandfather. Then we're in the clear. Meanwhile, let's talk about Silva's lair. Silva's got the blue tone going on. I'm digging it. This dog is different. This is a different dog than Mike. The hair on the side is different. This is a different version of Mike. The fact that Silva has his own personal attack hound is crazy. But Silva is... I like that Hunter x Hunter is introducing us to very conflicting characters because you have this whole family of assassins. Kaluto is like a sponge, taking it all in. The mom, as crazy helicopter obsessive as she is, in the end, she just lets them go. She's like, okay, well, bye. Like, she just, like, leaves. It's like, she didn't fight Gon or anything like that. Illumi, as creepy and controlling as he is, does seem to kind of care what happens to Killua, so there's that layer added to it. Milky is just the typical, stereotypical jealous brother, whatever. But then you have the dad, who on the one hand, the dad has a trained hound outside the gates, Mike, who is killing and eating corpses left and right. He also has a chained up other dog that is there. And then, yeah, I mean, he is basically Killua, except thank God Killua inherited his mother's eyebrows. Thank God that Killua and Milky, Illumi, and Kaluto, thank God that them eyebrows are not dominant traits. They are recessive because them are some bushy ass eyebrows. Thank God that trait is recessive. But yeah, the dad's over here on his throne, next to his dog, like this giant ass throne. He's like, I heard you made some friends. And he's like, yeah. He's like, what sort of people are they? He looks like freaking He-Man. He looks like if He-Man and Griffith from Berserk had a baby, this would be it. This would be it. So yeah, he's so intimidating because of how just big he is. And he's like, what sort of people are they? They're people I enjoy being with. And he's like, okay. And he's just like, how was the exam? And then Killua tells him about how easy it was. I like the dad's kind of like ninja outfit. And he says, come over here. When he said come over here, I got a little bit nervous because Illumi gets right up in Killua's business and is very creepy and intimidating about all of it. And so when the dad said come over here, I was like, I got nervous because I was like, is Killua going to be in trouble? Is he going to get hurt? How's this going to go? What's going to end up happening? And that's not what ends up happening at all. He asks him what happened during the exam. Who did you meet? How did it feel? You can tell me anything. The dad is interesting because the dad he has high hopes for Killua, but he also is there's like a soothing like quality to him that he's not asking different questions than the mom. The mom wanted to know everything that was going on. But because she's such a helicopter parent and she's so eccentric, over the top, and like just intense about it, she's like, what are you doing? And like all this. Silva's not asking much different. Silva's like, what happened? Who did you see? How were they? What happened during the exam? How did you feel? Like he's doing like a freaking therapist session with Killua, but he's asking the same types of questions just in a very different manner that Killua finds a lot more easy to open up to. Meanwhile, the mom is like, father didn't even ask me first. And Kill seems to be having fun with Papa. Like she's like, I won't forgive them. Like, I feel like the mom she's like, I want to be able to be my son's best friend. You can't take him from me. Like she's that stereotype. And meanwhile, Kaluto, which I love Kaluto's kimono being black with the white tips. Love it. So, and then of course, Killua is telling Dad, guess what Gon said next? And the dad finds this all funny. And he's like, ha ha ha. He's so self-centered. The dad is taking it all in and soaking every ounce of what he's saying in. And it almost like the dad's eyes and expressions are like that damn dog. He's observing everything that Killua is telling him and memorizing it. And there's a warmth to it, but with the blue light and everything, it's kind of creepy. And I think it's meant to be that way. Because he stops him. And he says, do you want to see your friends? There's like, the way that his eyes are, he's like, do you want to see them? Like, is this something intensely that you want? And he's like, you don't need to hold back. Tell me the truth. And he says, thinking back, we've never had a father-son chat before. Like, he's so intense there. Yeah. I was raised by my parents to be an assassin. So we get to know that it's a family business. Zeno raised him to be an assassin, and he's raising Killua to be an assassin. And he says as much. He's like, and I raised you to be the same way. But he says, you and I are different. And I didn't realize that until you left home. And then he gives him like a little head pat. I was like, oh. So the dad's recognizing, he's like, look, you and I are not the same. So training you in the same way is not going to be successful. And you can tell Killua is instantly like, Killua has a respect for his dad. Like, and respects Silva. Absolutely. I was full on, because I didn't remember Silva from the first time I watched. I was expecting Silva to be really intimidating, but I was also expecting him to be really cold-hearted. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But I was expecting him to be like cold and stoic and doesn't say a lot and doesn't want to be near his son. And whereas the mom is the polar opposite and she's like overly doting upon him. But no, Silva does want to be with his son. He does want to talk to him and everything. But he says, you are your own person. Which is, he's the kind of the opposite of Illumi, where he's like, if you want to go off and have friends, sure, go off and have friends. It'll be fine. And he's like, you're your own person. You can do what you want. Whereas Illumi was like, no, you don't need friends. Assassins can't have friends. I'm wondering, did Illumi and him have this same conversation? Maybe Illumi should know about this so he knows that he can bring Hisoka around and it won't be weird. Maybe. And he's like, live as you please. And he gives him the head pat and has this, like, sincere, like, his eyebrows raise up and it's really cute. Like, also, when Killua hits puberty, it's gonna go one way or the other. He's either gonna be Twink McGink, like, Illumi, or he's gonna be Macho Man Randy Savage, like his dad. Like, holy shit. But if you get tired, you can come home. I want that line to sink in. And he looks at him and he's like, I'll ask you. Like, it's serious. It's like a tiger looking down, like a snow tiger looking down saying, I'm going to ask you one more time. Do you want to see your friends? And Killua was like, yes. And he's like, okay, I understand. Then you're free now. You can go. And that's when he makes the pact with him saying, like, but you have to promise me one thing. Never betray your friends. Understand? And that's all Killua wanted to hear. And this was so cute. I love that they do the promise. Like, it's just such a father-son moment. Like, I wasn't expecting Killua and his dad to have this, like, bonding moment. Also, the hands on that man. Look. This is vulgar of me to say, but maybe if you told me all 5 of these children were Silva and the moms, I would believe that. I would believe that. But maybe also if you told me that Milky and or Illumi were the butler's kids, I'd believe that too. So, damn. But genetics. Yeah, but them hands are huge. But yeah, I love this father-son thing. And then I love that Killua with his sweet little black turtleneck in the tradition of anime characters with black turtlenecks being badasses. Killua has joined the fold. I like that he has the straps that are like his grandfather's on his clothing. That's cool too. And then lavender pants, because why not? I like the lavender pants because the mom kind of has a purple motif going on. So he kind of, it's a weird way that he adheres to that motif without supporting her. And she's like, oh, those 3 have left. It's too late. And Killua's like, I'm leaving. And when she goes to stop him, she has her nails out like she's going to attack him. But his face is like, no, I'm going. The same look his dad has, like that, no, I'm going to do this. And you know that the mom, she's just like, oh, these kids, they grow up so fast. Oh, Kill. Your eyes are so cold now. So meanwhile, Canary is taking them to go there. And the mom is like, what were you thinking? Like, she immediately gets onto him. Kill was finally home. And he's like, for now, let him do what he wants. So Kaluta is allowed into this family conversation, which is interesting. Kaluta seems to follow the mom everywhere. We don't know where the other sibling is. But Kaluta is allowed. And this part here, where he's like, let him do what he wants. And she's like, what are you saying? This is a critical juncture in the process. I wonder if she hurt herself or did that to her eyes so she could get that tech. I wonder if Miluki made the tech for her. And I wonder if she got the tech just so she could spy on everybody in her family. Probably. It's determining if he's qualified to lead the family. And he's like, so you know what's at stake. And he's like, stop griping, keep your mouth shut. And on the one hand, I'm like, you shouldn't talk to your spouse that way. On the other hand, she kind of earns it, so. On the one hand, I'm like, I don't know if I approve of him talking to her that way. On the other hand, I'm like, she is kind of griping and making a scene in front of him and in front of their kid for no reason. So, give and take. But yeah. And she's like, ugh. And then he's all excited. That face. Like, him being like, well, he'll come home one day. He'll come home one day because he is my son. Ooh, that last moment where the dad is like, he's like, you know what's at stake. He's going to come back. Let him go and sow his wild oats. and all of that. Because his phrase to his son was, if you get tired, you can come back. I think that the dad recognizes that, look, we can't tame. He's like, this wild horse. We got to let him go, get all that out of his system, and then he'll come back. And there's a part of me that feels like that Illumi and the mom maybe are trying to, in some sense, protect Killua from the outside world and just be like, just be an assassin. Don't get involved with them hunters. You know, like Little Mermaid-esque, like, he's a human, you're a mermaid. Whereas the dad, Silva's like, oh no, go ahead. Go out and see how hard it is. Your friends? What happens if they die? They'll probably die. They'll probably get killed being hunters. And then when that happens, you can come back home. I feel like he knows that Killua is not going to be satisfied staying there. And he's like, rather than keep him here, let's let him go sow his wild oats, get it out of his system. His friends will probably end up dying and it'll probably break his heart. And then he'll come back here and join us back. And then we have nothing to worry about. That's kind of what I say he's thinking. And then he's like, he's my son. He's going to want to be the head of the assassins. Or if that's not the case, then he's saying that, look, Killua will return as an assassin. So maybe he's saying that because Killua has such strong bonds with his friends, in the end, he will come back and be an assassin to protect the friends. Maybe he's like, go let him be with his friends, and then he'll realize he'll need to come back and be the head of the assassin clan in order to protect them even more. I don't know. I'm very curious. We're going to see Illumi again. We're going to see Illumi again. Y'all know that. We're going to see Illumi. I don't know if we're going to see Cluedo or the mom or the dad or the grandfather anytime soon. At some point, we have to meet the great-grandmother, the great-grandparent, the grandma, and the other sibling. At some point, we got to meet them, but I have no clue when that is. But I feel like of all of these siblings in the family, Illumi is the one we're going to see the most. Because Illumi's out walking around with Ahsoka. So yeah. So before we go back to that for spoiler corner reasons, let's get back into this episode, episode 25. I do like how we started out the episode with the train moving towards the Zoldyk family, and we ended the episode coming back. That was a lot of fun. That was a great time. Good on it. We've met the grandfather. We found out the grandfather's the one with the bandages next to Milky and Illumi. Silva is the dad there, which, you know, Silva's got some damn good hair going on. Maybe Illumi fits. Illumi has the snatched waist like the mom, favors the mom very much. So maybe Illumi and Milky are the dad's kids. I could see that, I guess. And then you have Kaluto, you have Killua, and then you have the other sibling. So, girl, I don't know. Maybe, again, this is so vulgar. Maybe having kids was the only time she stopped blabbing. I don't know. He must like it to some extent. Yeah, they definitely have old married couple vibes, though. Not quite Gomez and Morticia, but definitely old married couple vibes. So yeah, I'm curious how she's an assassin, but maybe, you know, she clearly can hold her own. So anyway. But yeah, imagine. It's very interesting to think of Jing and Silva as father figures, because you have Silva, who has always been there. So it's interesting. You have Silva has always been around while Killua has been growing up, but they haven't really had a father-son bonding moment because he's been out doing assassin work, but he's always been there. And then you have Gon's dad, Jing, who just dropped him off with Mito and was like, bye, and has never made any type of effort to have a connection with him. So, as of right now, Silva is the better dad, which is crazy because his dad's an assassin, like a king of assassins. Interesting. So yeah, so Killua and him make the pact, and they're set free, and this episode's called Can't See If You're Blind. What's kind of crazy to me is that we never got to see the Zoldyk family home. We never got to see the outside of it. We never got to see where it is on the mountainside. We never got to see what it looks like, where all the things are. All we saw was a dungeon, a hallway, and Silva's like man cave. That's literally all we saw. Silva's man cave, a hallway, and a dungeon room. We saw 3 aspects of the mansion that they supposedly live in. I wouldn't be surprised if it's inside the volcano. So that's crazy. That's crazy to me that we did not see any more of it after this. And Gon and his friends saw none of it. So they say that Killua has the discussion with a father he admires, and he leaves home despite his mother's objections. Right? Now, you could argue as they're going up to the butler's office, they have a ways to go. You could argue that, maybe Killua's mom's had an affair with Goto the butler. Maybe Goto is Killua's mom's gay best friend. Who knows? Maybe it's both. This is really bad to say, but I don't think Silva would mind if his wife cheated on him, because he'd be like, you can put up with that? Great. I don't think Silva would care. I think it almost feels like part of them being the Zoldyk family is for appearances. They're all celebrities and they're all assassins and that's just part of their thing. It would not surprise me. My headcanon right now, is that Milluki and Illumi are not Silva's kids, or at least Milluki is not Silva's kid. I think Illumi could be, for sure. But there's a part of me that thinks, I don't think that they're, that's their kid. Oh my God. But anyway. But yeah, that's my headcanon anyway. I had to restart my video because something crashed on here, but that's okay. We're going to restart the discussion. We're going to pick the discussion back up with Goto and Killua's mom here in 3, 2, 1. One of my cameras crashed, so I had to restart that. But yeah, so I think that in this case, Silva's just like, I'm glad that his wife has a friend in the butler, which again, supposedly you're not supposed to have friends, but I think this butler is definitely her BFF because he listens to everything. She's like, the men allowed him to leave again, and I just got Killua back, and Killua's finally home, and all this. And he's like, the father's just as guilty. This is the look of a man that's like, I am forced to listen to this every day of the week. He can't help it though, right? Can't help it. So yeah, they never ask me before they act. I'm like, girl. She's like, do you understand, Goto? And he's like, this is a most critical time for Kill. She's like, he's supposed to become the head of the family, and they're just letting him gallivant around with all of these friends. And the whole time, you don't see what his face looks like. I'm like, girl, I don't know. With that face and everything, if you told me that he was Milluki and Illumi's dad, I would believe it. I would believe it, honestly. And the fact that he just sits there and listens to her cry and like lament about everything. She's like, why don't they understand? And you know what? She kind of grew on me slightly. She's batshit crazy. She's batshit crazy, but the mom grew on me a little bit because she clearly cares about Killua becoming the head of the family, and they're all assassins, and she's like, but they're not thinking about blah, blah, blah. She's just so over the top and eccentric in the way that she comes about it that it's very hard to take her seriously at times and to not think she's just this crazy wench. But I do kind of feel for her, and I can get why Goto would too. Togashi's giving us all these colorful characters with the Zoldyk family. He's the one child that I won't give up. And yeah, that face, like him when you finally see him looking at her. So the one child she won't give up. So, I mean, Illumi's been, I don't know, because they're all assassins. So maybe she's just like all the kids leaving home. So I don't know. Or she's like Lucille Bluth, where she plays favorites with her kids, and Killua just happens to be her favorite. And she's like, well, I have Milluki, and there's Illumi, and Kaluta follows me around everywhere on hand and foot, and there's the other kid, but I really like Killua. You know? And then Goto's just here listening to all of it. But I think he kind of likes it. He doesn't look annoyed by her. He seems like he takes it all in. He's like, I understand, ma'am. I can see, like, I feel like he sympathizes with her, right? And when he tells Gon later, he's like, butlers, we're not allowed to have emotional attachments to our employers. And Gon's like, well, that's a lie. A lie indeed. I feel like, I mean, look, the milkman theory it's a crack headcanon. I know it's not true, but just like how Canary wants to be Killua's friends, but because they're assassins, they're not allowed to be. I feel like Goto sincerely wants to be the lady's friend, but he's not allowed to be. He's just the butler, you know? So, obviously, the madam crying is making him going to test Gon and the friends once they get to the butler's quarters. I don't know. Setting up shop, a pretty nice place for all the butlers to stay. Getting them a nice place to stay, you know. So Canary says that she's prepared to take the consequences, and Gon's like, well, I'll take responsibility. And she's like, no, I'm not going to let you do that. I'm just a guide for Killua's friends. And Gon's like, works for me. Gon's like, works for me. I'll take that then. Oh, my dude. Oh, my sweet dude. So, yeah. So as they go up to the butler's house, this episode was pretty straightforward. For episode 25, the butler lets Killua in, explains that Gon and them aren't here yet, tells him to go wait for him, and Gon's like, you know, as soon as they get there, you better let me know when they arrive. Yep. Because he's like, I want to know immediately. And then he's like, forgive me, Killua-sama. I don't know, them black eyes, all that. Look, maybe he's not Illumi's dad, but I think he's Miluki's. Let me have this. So yeah, so they finally make it to the house. When they were all, when the Backstreet Boys were out here ready to go, when the Backstreet Butler Boys were out here ready to take them on, I full on thought that they were going to just brawl outside of the mansion. But that would be pretty easy for Killua to see. So they all just meet them there, take them inside, you know. That shot there, though, that is straight up out of Bungo Stray Dogs. Bungo Stray Dogs copied that from Hunter x Hunter, right there, the fishbowl eye expression. Yeah, that's scary. That, again, Milky and Illumi, that just looks so creepy. It looks like a look they would give, whereas the dad gives a totally different vibe. I'm just saying, unless Goto's like secretly her brother or something, and he got a job there, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, also love all their bolos. Goto gets the cool red bolo because he's special. And they all go inside and have their little tea and crumpets. The lady of the house is giving you as official guests. I love the one guy just puts the little bandage, the gauze and the Band-Aid over Gon's eye, which he ends up taking off and cutting his eye to stop the swelling. Dear Jesus, Gon. So yeah, also there's a portrait of the volcano in the back without the mist surrounding it. I wonder, is there a picture of the mansion on it? No, not really. But yeah, so this isn't the residence. Like, no, this is just where the butler stays. And like, well, we came to see Killua, so thanks, but no thanks. So then he plays the game. Which now that we know the trick, it is like Killua said, once you know the trick, you feel bad for not noticing it, right? You feel bad for not noticing it. I think, looking back, I do think I remember that Gon figured out the guy behind him had the coin when it was the last toss, but I hadn't remembered how any of the other things went prior. I will say, if you had your headphones in, I was convinced that whichever headphone, like, it dinged and you'd be like, okay, it's in this hand. I felt like the ding of the headphone, like whichever one it was primarily on, gave away which hand it was in. I don't know if that's true or not, but it felt like it was at the time. So yeah. I despise you for trying to take him away. In all honesty. Again, the controlling of the mom and Illumi, this is not that much different from it. It really isn't. And he's like, so which hand is it? I don't know. Just saying. So they keep on guessing it. And then when Killua arrives, if y'all can't play the game, then the fact that they threatened to kill Canary was crazy. And Canary's like, well, F my drag, I just got here. I mean, granted, she did go against the butler's orders and brought them up to the house when she was told not to, but still. I guess it just shows how cutthroat the family is, that they're just like, yeah, we're even willing to cut off our own employees if they go outside of the line. But yeah. So he explains the rules. Luckily, Gon is the last person standing, of course, and ends up being fine and guessing the game right. But damn, he just looks, I know you all think I'm crazy, but I could totally see it. I could see him and that mom. I could see them having an affair and Silva just being like, whatever. He's like, I'll adopt him, doesn't matter. So they do the game and everything, and Gon and of course Leorio gets out first. Of course he does. And then Kurapika and Gon, I liked when they looked at each other and they both agreed. They're like, okay, we're gonna guess. We're gonna guess. Okay, awesome. So then they guess, and then Kurapika gets out, and then Gon. I like that Gon asks for the knife, and he's like, I can't see. And then to stop the swelling, like, I feel to me that shows Goto that Gon was willing to, like, go the distance to win the game and see Killua. He was willing to cut his own eyelid to reduce the swelling so he could go see Killua. Like, that's insane, right? That's crazy, right? So the fact that he was willing to do that is, I think that says a lot, honestly. Meanwhile, what is Killua doing? Are these all chocolates? Are these all candies? Or they look little candies and they look like a character off Dan to Dan. That he's eating there. Okay, and that backpack with the 6 straps on it is crazy. So yeah, Killua's had his fill of chocolate, and he's like, how long do I have to wait? And then they finish up the game, and luckily Killua wasn't mad. Luckily Killua was not upset at the butler. He was just happy to see Gon, so that was good. And then he walks in, he's like, hey! And then our boys are reunited. It's a miracle. It's amazing. We all love to see it. Ah, it's so good. He's like, it's been a while. And he's like, oh, hey, Goto, you told me you were going to tell me as soon as he got there. He's like, I had them be in a little game. Sorry for any aggravation. Uh-huh. He's like, did you enjoy yourselves? And Leorio's like, well, other than the part of you threatening to kill us. That was fine. And then Gon's like, no, they were just entertaining. Gon, Canary could have died. Canary could have straight up died. And you're like, no, they were just entertaining us. And Canary's over here like, thanks, just doing my job. So yeah, and they're like, well, whatever. Poor Canary. Canary caught all the strays in this episode. I felt for her. I feel for her. So yeah. And so he's like, I don't want to talk to my mother. I feel like it's such a stereotypical anime thing where in anime, there's either like 3 outcomes. Either 1, matricide, the mom is non-existent. Jing had gone through immaculate conception. And Omegaverse logic, there is no mom. Either 1, no mom. 2, the mom is a helicopter mom and she's extremely naggy, which is what Killua's mother is. So she fits thing number 2. Or 3, the mom is an adoptive mom that's not the biological mom, but is pretty much the mother already, aka Aunt Mito, aka One Piece, think of Nami, aka lots of other characters. There's other characters where it's like not the real mom, but an adoptive mom. It's either foster mom, matricide, or helicopter mom. Those are your 3 top choices for anime moms. And then occasionally you get a really sweet, kind, and considerate mom, but she usually has a side ponytail and she dies within half the series. So, or within the first episode. Just saying. So yeah, I feel like Killua having the stereotypical like helicopter mom. He's like, I don't care what my mom says. Don't follow me. And he's like, sure, understood. You're not my real kid. This part here was really sad, where he's like, bye. And as Canary, like, leans over, this part broke my heart. Like, this legit broke my heart. Killua is so happy to see Gon. He's so happy to see his friends. He's so happy to be able to be with them and have time with them. And Canary, because I'm sure there's a part of Canary that feels because she couldn't step up like Gon did. And granted, it's her job. Her job is to be the apprentice butler. Her job is eventually going to be what Goto is. So she feels like she could not stand up to the mom because then she wouldn't have the opportunity to be the butler. So she's kind of like between a rock and a hard place. But that makes it all the more heartbreaking because you can tell she wants to be Killua's friend and she does not get that opportunity like the others. And so it's just heartbreaking. Like I want her to be Killua's friend by the end of this. I want her to be Killua's friend. I want it. And I do appreciate the dad's like, well, we're not the same people. Maybe you can be an assassin and have friends. The mom doesn't think it's possible. Illumi doesn't think it's possible. Miluki doesn't think it's possible. But the dad's like, let him try. Worst case scenario, he comes back to see us, right? Let him have his Rumspringa. So yeah, and then that's when Gon says, once Killua leaves, you'll be lonely, huh? Well, not him maybe necessarily, but Canary certainly. And then he's like, butlers feel no emotional attachment to our employers. Yeah, that's a lie. That's a lie. That's a big-ass lie. And I like that Gon's like, you're a liar. Love this kid. Love him. So yeah. So we had quite a bit left to go in this. And then that's when, he does the trick one more time with him. And he's like, it was a deception. In this world, there are many things that are wrong. I feel like that's an important note that we need to make before leaving this arc and arriving into the next one. The concept of deception and the idea that there are many wrongs in the world. Because, yeah, Gon is such a pure character, and he's just like, well, but I'm not saying that, I don't think Gon views the world as black and white necessarily, but I do think that Gon has this image in his mind of how things are, and it's like, I don't know if that's entirely correct. So, I feel like Gon has not seen the darkest of people yet, right? I mean, Hisoka's been the closest he's gotten to that, and it's shaken up Gon like just... And Hisoka's not, honestly, in all honesty, looking at the full big picture of things, Hisoka is creepy. Hisoka definitely has, like, a malicious side to him, but he's not, like, as outwardly evil as he could be. He really isn't, and that's what makes his character fascinating. He very much picks and chooses when he decides to strike, right? So, I feel like Gon, with Hisoka being Gon's, like, only real introduction into the malice of the world, I like that Goto's like, look, there's a lot of things wrong in the world. FYI for future arcs, you're gonna run into them, so get yourself ready for deception. And Gon is right now not ready for that. I don't believe so. He's so pure. He's like, be careful. I'm entrusting Killua-sama to you. And I'm like, uh-huh. Now, Gon takes that seriously. He's like, I'll look after Killua. Don't you worry. Poor Canary. At least Gon says bye to her. At least he's like, bye, Canary. I feel so much for her. She's so beautiful. I love her character to pieces. I'm going to miss her already because we're probably not going to see her for a while. But damn it. Damn it, I want to see her more. So yeah, we'll make ourselves scarce before trouble comes. So they explain the trick. Kurapika explains how it works. And then I love that Gon's like, that makes me mad now that I know the trick. And Killua's like, I knew it all along. He's such a cat. Love that. So then they decide where they're going to go. He's like, Goto hates cheating even if it's just a game. Well, maybe Goto isn't the father of those two kids if he doesn't like cheating. Who knows? Who knows? But anyway, he's like, that's even worse. So on their train ride back, that's when Gon reveals that he's not using his hunter license. Of all things, I kind of remembered this a little bit, but in my mind, for some reason, I thought Gon wasn't going to use the hunter license until Killua could get his hunter license. I thought that that was going to be, which we know now, this September 1st deadline is not for 6 months. So what's going to happen is I don't think Killua can get his hunter license within the 6 months. It feels like an every year thing. So Killua's hanging out with Gon, but he really is relying upon Gon's hunter license to get him places. And right now, Gon is not even using that. So our boys are just relying upon what resources they have. And as of right now, Killua cannot reveal that he's a Zoldyk because then he would be a target of, you know, all the assassins and everything. And he's like, I'm not going to use my hunter's license until I punch Hisoka. Like that was, and basically, again, this ties to Gon. This ties to Gon being someone of his word. Again, also, we've talked about this a little bit in previous episodes. Gon's whole mission is to find his dad. Using the hunter license would probably open up a lot of avenues to find his dad, but that's not how Gon works. Gon wants to do things by the book and by what he defines as right, and in Gon's mind, he is not an official hunter until he can punch Hisoka back and give him the badge back, and then he will be an official hunter in his mind. In his mind, that will be what makes him officially be worthy of the badge. And I respect that. I respect that Gon lives by that principle. And Killua, he's kind of like, well, that's crazy, but okay. He's like, I can't go back to Whale Island then either. Although he might, send Mito a letter asking for money. So then they ask where Hisoka is. And of course, nobody knows. Except for Kurapika. And Kurapika's like, he told me where he was. So Leorio's like, Leorio is all of us. Leorio's like, I've been itching to ask, where and what did he say to you? Where is he and what did he say? And Hisoka said to him, I have some information for you regarding the spider. Oh, it's juicy. Oh, it's juicy, y'all. Oh, it's juicy. It's so damn juicy, yes. So, in any case, they're like, oh, the Phantom Troop. And so let's go back to this picture. We get this picture. He's like, Kurapika's like, I didn't mention the Phantom Troop to Hisoka. Didn't mention to him. So either he overheard our conversation, which is a possibility, or he heard it from another. Or he heard it from someone else. So we're going to put this up here. Phantom Troop, they're all gathering at this auction in York, New City. Allegedly. Supposedly. They might be there. Allegedly. Maybe. That's what we're thinking. And so Hisoka has heard about this and told Kurapika. Now, would Hisoka have a reason to go to this auction? Because Hisoka doesn't seem like the greedy type. Hisoka's not really worried about money. He's not even greedy with points. Like back during the 4th exam when they were on Zevil Island, Illumi was like, here, you can have all the points. And Hisoka's like, I really just want enough to just get by. So Hisoka's not greedy. We've established that. So why would he show up at York, New City? The only thing we can think of is if there are members of the Phantom Troop there, that means there are strong opponents for Hisoka to fight. So Hisoka might be like, well, I can go, do some chaos and fight some people. So, that might be reason enough. The spider is their symbol. So those familiar with the organization refer to it as such. And Kurapika's like, I wanted to know his information. So that's what he met with. That's why you swallowed your pride and walked out. And after the orientation, I asked him about it. I like this point too. I love this shot for multiple reasons. One, because you can see Kurapika on one side of the column. Like this was after Gon broke. This is after Gon had that conversation with Illumi and Illumi revealed that their arm was broke. Kurapika on the one side of the column is in all red, which matches their eyes. And Hisoka is in all blue on the other side, which we'll talk about in the spoiler corner. But basically, I'll await you in York, New City on September 1st. So why? Why would Hisoka want to meet with Kurapika? Kurapika likes to face people only when they're about, like, in their ripened time to die. So why meet Kurapika there? That's 6 months away. What's going to happen? And so they talk about the auction for unusual items and rare goods and national treasures from around the world. That to me would tell me that Jing might be there. Jing might show up because isn't Jing like an archaeologist that search for ruins and things and artifacts? So could it be that Jing might find an artifact that they would want to sell at said auction? Maybe Jing will be there. Who knows? It attracts all manners of nasty folks. So I think of the OP where it's like all the treasures and the magic items attracting everybody who wants a slice of it. So those who come looking to satisfy their greed might include the Phantom Troop, the biggest gathering of money in the world. There's a chance the troop's going to be there. And so Kurapika says they're a group of bandits. They're not going to let this chance escape to go there and try to steal some goods. Possibly. Or possibly kill some people that win some things in the auction, So Hisoka will be somewhere in York, New City on that day. And Gon's like, got it. Can't wait to go punch a clown in the face. Our poor boy. So yeah. So honestly, at this point in the series, I did remember that Gon and Killua separated from Leorio and Kurapika. I do remember that, but I didn't know the reasons behind it. So Kurapika's reasonings are, I need money. I'm going to work for a patron as a hunter, earn some money. They're like a mage. They're like, I'm going to do my mage work, earn my coins. And then what did Leorio say his goal was? He's like, well, I'm going to go home too. And he's like, I haven't given up on my dream of becoming a doctor. So if I'm accepted into medical school, I can use this to pay the ridiculous fee, which is Hunter card. And then I'll go back and start cramming. The thing with Leorio, though, that's kind of like, I mean, Kurapika's makes sense because Kurapika is very much dedicated to meeting back up with Ahsoka, seeing the Phantom Troop, all of that. Leorio's is kind of interesting because Leorio, like, it makes sense for them to go back and cram for med school. But then I'm like, then you're going to just stop cramming in 6 months and come back and join them for a rousing game of find the Phantom Troop. So, interesting. I don't remember what happens with him, with Leorio for his arc, so we'll just have to see on that. So yeah, then they head out, and it's my dream come true, where we just have Gon and Killua together. Also, the purple and the green, they're my two favorite colors, so seeing them together is just, love it. Love it so much. But yeah, so then Killua's like, obviously, we have to train because you are not ready to face Ahsoka. Also, kudos on Killua for giving Hanzo, like, some praise. He gave Hanzo praise for being talented. I'm like, that's crazy. But yeah, he's like, we have to train you so that you're ready to face Ahsoka. And then he does the gag where he draws Gon, like, so far away. And he's just, like, way off onto the side is so funny. And I'm being generous. And he's like, well, where are you? And he draws him, like, a little far away. And he's like, I'm so humble. Like, what a cat face. What a cat face, Killua. It was adorable. Really cute. But yeah. And so then Gon's like, well, how are we going to train? And he's like, I have an idea. I know a method that can make us stronger. Hisoka is strong. You won't land a blow on him in 6 months through normal training. And he's like, do you have any money, Gon? And he's like, well, I'm actually running out. And he's like, I don't have a lot either. But there's somewhere we can train and earn money at the same time. Now, where Killua learned about Heaven's Arena, I don't know. But Killua gets around. And Killua, also being bored, probably asked around being like, well, where can I go train at? What's the easy way to do it? And people are like, well, you can go to Heaven's Arena. So whatever Heaven's Arena is, I'm sure that he's like, we'll get some money, we'll train, we'll level up before September 1st. He's like, I'll explain later and let's go. And so, yeah, we've set the stage. Kurapika's going to go work for a patron and get some money to save up. Leorio's going to go cram for med school, so maybe he'll learn some healing techniques along the way that we can use at later times. I'm just saying, maybe possibly. And Gon and Killua are going to go train at this Heaven's Arena. And then they're all going to meet back up, the four of them together at York New City on September 1st. Exciting times. So yeah, I did go ahead and watch before starting this, just to tell you all. I did go ahead and start, and I'm going to pull the screenshots up here to show you all. But I did watch the recap episode before starting this discussion, and there was not really much of anything that was of value in the recap that you didn't need to see me react to. However, there was a really cute shot. Gon sends a letter to Aunt Mito and the grandma, and in the letter there is the most adorable picture of the four of them. It's so cute. And Aunt Mito and the grandma find out that Gon passed the hunter exam, and they find out about him like going after Ahsoka, doing all this. And she frames the picture that Gon sent and put it next to Ging, and she's like, are you supporting him? And I'm like, is Jing supporting his son? Is he really spiritually from afar? I do love this part where they do the close-up of the picture. And there is Gon and Killua. And Killua looks so happy. Killua looks so happy with Gon. And they look so precious. And it's adorable. It's so cute. Gon and Killua melt my heart. I love them so much as a duo. And I'm excited that we get to see Gon and Killua training together. It's so great. I complained earlier on when we were in the hunter exam, I was like, Killua has been so separate from Gon and distancing himself from the others. And now that he's realized Gon's going to be his friend and it's all going to work out, now he's like Velcro to Gon like glue. Okay, I want to talk spoilers with y'all. So if you are not sticking around for the spoiler corner, then I hope you all have an amazing week. Please stay safe. Take care, and I will see you all. Well, I won't see you next week with Hunter x Hunter, but I will be back before the start of the next arc to talk about the manga. It'll be in like a month. It'll be like in a month and a half. It'll go by so fast. Y'all won't even know it. Y'all won't even notice. It'll go by so quickly. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. But it has been amazing following this first arc with you all. It has been so much fun. I'm not sad that I'm taking a little break because I know it's going to go by like that. It's going to go by so fast. And then we'll be back with the next arc. But it is going to be a little tiny break, but it'll give people time to catch up and all that stuff. And you all can see in like a month and a half, you'll see me review the manga. So it'll go by like in 6 weeks. That's going to be nothing. So I want to talk about the spoiler corner and say a few words after that. But otherwise, if you're not sticking around, thank you for joining and following with me. And I'll see you all very soon. It'll go by so quickly with more Hunter x Hunter. Yes! Okay, I did remember parts of this episode set. I've been waiting to talk about spoiler corner for a while. But I remembered parts of this. I remembered that the dad was we got to meet the dad early on. I did not remember his personality. Silva's personality. Do not remember that. The other sibling, I don't know if I remember ever meeting the other sibling. I don't know if I've met the other sibling. Kaluto, there's something else with Kaluto that happens, but I don't remember what. But Kaluto will make another appearance at some point. Like, she was so quiet and weird, and so, like, kind of just observant. She's gonna come back. At some point, she's gonna come back. But I don't remember where. Also, Illumi with the boyfriend look here. Look at him with his turtleneck looking all fly. These boys in their turtlenecks, I tell you what, Killua has the black one that he leaves with in this. So, but yeah, Illumi looks like he's ready to climb a mountain to go meet Hisoka for a picnic. Yeah, I remember Miluki does some tech stuff. I feel like at some point, do we go back to the castle to the Zoldyk Manor at some point? I feel like eventually we get to see it, but I don't remember. But yeah, Canary, freaking love Canary. I love her. Let's talk about Meteor City. So the fact that she is from Meteor City, and that's where a lot of the Phantom Troop people come from, that is of no surprise. So girl could have been Phantom Troop material if the Zoldyk family didn't pick her up. So I feel like they did a really good job in this episode set of foreshadowing the Phantom Troop. I figured out where we are now. I figured some things out. I'm ready to talk to you all about it, but I'm going through this episode chronologically so I don't forget anything. But yeah, the idea that Meteor City is just this left behind, like, dump landfill of a poor city where just the strongest that survive come out of is so intriguing to me. Love it. Also, I do distinctly remember the scene where Canary... last week, I was like, I remember the scene where Canary beats all these guys up, and I remember seeing it, but they didn't show us, and then they were saving it for this week, so that makes sense. But yeah, Sequent is like the luckiest guy in this show, because he could have been dog food, he could have been killed, and instead they gave him a paying job. He went from being abandoned... Well, he went from being... Here's the thing. Were these guys all hunters? Because the one guy, here's the thing, the one Captain Hook guy was like, I'm a hunter, and faced them. Was Sequent a hunter too, or was he just a hired hand? And this opens up the idea that hunters come and challenge the Zoldyks quite a bit. So, enough that they need a butler and a guard dog. So, yeah, interesting. Also, do the Zoldyks dogs, is the one that Silva has a male or female? Is Mike a male or female? Are there puppies? I need to know these things. So yeah, I feel bad for Canary. I don't remember. I know that we see Canary another time later in the series. I don't remember if, I'm being genuine, I don't remember if her and Killua get to do things or become friends, but I hope that they do by the end of the series. I really do, because she creates such a big impression. I know we see her at least one more time, but if you ask me when that was or what the context is, I don't remember, but I know we see her again because I remember being excited about seeing Canary again, because I instantly loved her character, and the idea that she wanted to be Killua's friends. I fell in love with her character from the start, but I don't remember if we see her again. The mom is such an interesting character. The mom being like, her and the mom like letting Miluki torture them and doing this Addams Family business, but then the dad is like, yeah, just go have friends. Like it's just, they're such a weird family. I like Togashi makes them so like, they're so layered and they're interesting. And does Miluki have, I guess he has the phone in his pocket, but I feel like the family is so intriguing and there's so many different character quirks and traits with them that I'm like, they're weird and kooky, but they're the Addams Family. And Killua is like Pugsley and Wednesday. They're like, oh, you're done torturing us? We're all good now. That shot though, like, Killua is dangerous. He really is. He has a lot of his dad in him, I feel. So, especially when, like, he threatens to hurt Killua's friends. And he's like, no. That shot is terrifying. That shot is, like, Illumi scary. No, not having it. And then the grandfather's interesting. The grandfather and the dad both seem like they want Killua to become the head of the family, but they see a lot of themselves in Killua, but acknowledge that Killua is not like them. And they're like, he's strong enough. We need to let him go sow his wild oats and, get it out of his system now so he can come back and be a proper assassin. And Miluki is just absolutely livid about it. But I mean, that face, does that face not make you think of the butler? I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised. My headcanon is that Goto is at least Miluki's dad. 100%. Maybe not Illumi's, not the other kids, but my theory is that he is Miluki's kid. Yep. But I could be wrong. Maybe he is Silva's child. I don't know. Silva is crazy. The mom is crazy. They're all crazy. But I kind of love the Zoldyk family. They're so colorful. But yeah, I don't even know. Is this like his bed? Is this his bed / like tanning bed? I don't know. It's so weird. But yeah, the dad and Killua surprisingly getting along is kind of crazy. I love this father-son like pact that they make where he's like, you should never be your own person. If you want to see your friends, make this promise that you'll never betray your friends. I kind of like that. I like that he's making Killua like take this oath, make this promise. I'm like, okay, what are we going to do with that now? And Killua agrees to it. I wonder how that's going to come back. It seems like the dad is fairly certain that Killua is going to come back. And I'm curious, like, what that's going to do to him. Like, what was the point of making that pact? Like, the dad is so interesting. I can't wait to see him in the manga. I honestly can't wait to see all of the family in the manga, to be honest. That's what I'm excited about, to see them, like how Togashi illustrates them. I'm so curious. So curious. But yeah, so let's go to the second episode so we can talk more about spoilery things. As far as getting into the card game and stuff, I want to get to the Phantom Troop because that's really what I want to dive into. I think that Goto teaching Gon the lesson about deception is going to be interesting because we're about to deal with the Phantom Troop who deal in deception. Okay, Hisoka is a member of the Phantom Troop, if I recall correctly. Yes, so we have the group here. Hisoka is a member of the Phantom Troop. So he's one of the people on either side. He's either on the one side or the other side because the one side, I feel like, it has like the spiky hair. I feel like that's Hisoka. There's the snatched waist, everything. I feel like the guy on the far right is Hisoka. He's a member of the Phantom Troop. That's why he knows they're the spider and all of that. And I'm like, okay, I feel like that's just a given. So then the question is, who are all these other characters? The one character on the left side, like the really short one on the left side with the long hair and like looks like a trench coat, kind of looks like the outline of the sibling of Killua's. I don't remember if Killua's sibling is in the Phantom Troop. I don't remember, but maybe they are, because the outline of them looks similar. I remember the vacuum lady with the vacuum. I saw someone cosplay as her at one of the conventions this summer, and I was like, yes, she's fantastic. Love her. Know the lady next to where I think Hisoka is with the ponytail and like has like, I think it's the spider's thread. I love her. She's amazing. The guy in the center, I'm gonna save talking about him till we get to him, but and then the girl, I think she looks like Annie from Attack on Titan. She's the one with the gun next to Vacuum Girl. The guys I don't remember except the big giant guy next to the man in the center. I remember him because that was a really good moment with Kurapika. Remember that, but the other ones I don't remember. I feel bad that I don't remember, but I love the Phantom Troop. Loved the Phantom Troop arc. What I remember of it, I was like, that's when I got hooked on Hunter x Hunter, was the Phantom Troop. The first two, honestly, Heaven's Arena is when I really started to get hooked the first time around. I'm hooked now, but I've been closely watching and analyzing it with you all, so I've had more chances to get into it. Heaven's Arena was when I kind of perked up and was like, oh, really? And then Phantom Troop is when I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm hook, line, and sinker. You got me, gal. But yeah, I am so glad we're getting this set up. I had forgotten the reasons that Kurapika and Leorio split from everybody, but now it makes sense. And then Heaven's Arena, y'all. Heaven's Arena. Oh my God, the tower. We're going to the tower! We're going back to the tower! Yes! I've been waiting. I kept being like, this whole arc being like, where's the damn towers? I know they're not the Phantom Troop. Where's the damn towers? It's right before. Yes. I loved the towers because Heaven's Arena, because it's going to be Gon and Killua battling. I know there's lots of really good, there were conversations. I don't recall the context of the conversations at this point, but I know there were ones that I was like, ooh, that would be really cool to dissect. And now that I have a channel and can dissect them, we're going to get the chance to do that. So yes, so excited. I'm so excited. Can't wait. But yeah, I'm just, really looking forward to it. So this is gonna be so exciting. I am so excited for you all to join me as we dive into the next arc. Like I said, next week we're gonna take a break, and then I have a short series on the channel. It's only like 8 weeks that I'm going to be looking at on the channel. I am going to be, in the meantime, diving into the manga in my own time, taking notes, doing many a post-it note, many a thing to review, taking screenshots, getting things ready so that we can dive into and talk about the manga before we go into this next set of episodes. Now, eventually when I catch up to the whole series way down the road, I am going to react to the manga, but in the meantime, since we've watched the anime adaptation, I'm going to be doing a review. Again, go see Natsume's Book of Friends. Find a thumbnail of Natsume's Book of Friends where you see a manga book on it, and you can see how I do it for those. But I'm so happy you all have joined me for Hunter x Hunter. I hope you stick around for One Piece live action. It's going to be a fun time. I'm excited for that. Another classic, but in a new format. And then, yeah, around my birthday month, we'll be starting back with Hunter x Hunter, and we'll be starting back with Gon and Killua together. What a birthday gift. I'm being so spoiled. But thank you all so much. I hope you all have enjoyed this reaction and discussion. I am so excited to hear your thoughts down below about the end of this arc. I loved the Rescue Killua arc. It's such a great introduction to the Zoldyk family. You know this ain't the last time we've seen any of them. Illumi's out making out with Hisoka somewhere as we speak, but I am so ready to see them again and to learn more about them. So in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'm gonna be back before you know it with more Hunter x Hunter. Please make sure you like and comment like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and comment down below, and I'll see you all very soon with more reactions. Bye!